Hello, everyone. Mike Schoonover with the 812 Living Group and host of the 812 and You blog. Hey, folks, pre-approval is super important. When we're working with our buyer clients, it's one of the very first steps that we take is helping our clients get pre-approved for a mortgage if they're planning to get financing to make a purchase. But just as important as getting pre-approved, we are finding, and we share with our clients, it's who you get pre-approved with. Those two things can make all of the difference and set the stage for what your home buying experience can be like. So we've brought in Brad C. Today with Kentuckiana Mortgage Group. Brad, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Brad, you recently had a client experience that I think really illustrates why it's just as important as getting pre-approved is who you get pre-approved with. And I wanted you to share that story with our listeners to help kind of drive that point home. So if you would, tell us a story about the recent client you had with the pre-approval.
Yeah, Mike. So, this happens a couple times a month where a client goes to whatever .com website they go to and get pre-approved by whatever online lender. And in this particular situation, whoever they spoke to or talked to didn't realize that the client lived and worked in Indianapolis, and they were trying to buy a house in Corden, Indiana. And the guy's plan was to buy it and then move into it in 3 or 4 years when he retires. So that inherently is a problem because he's got housing there. You can't work there. It's too far to travel to and from for work. So then it becomes, at that point, if he's not moving into it as a primary residence, and that becomes an investment property. You can maybe look at it as a second home, but we're talking much different guidelines versus a primary residence, and he didn't meet the guidelines that were required to do it as an investment property or a second home. And I think the problem is when you go to these online lenders that aren't local or know the area, like he probably didn't, whoever talked to or probably didn't realize that Indianapolis and Harrison County were so far away, or didn't realize that they didn't ask enough questions about his plan with with the residency type, primary, secondary, or investment, or, another thing is he was going to get a gift for the down payment, and you can't get a gift for a down payment on an investment property. So there was a layer of 2, 3, or 4 things there that, once he got an accepted offer on the house, he went back to the lender and said, hey, we got a contract. And once they started working on it, they're like, oh yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah. So just to fill in a little bit of gap here, he calls the online lender. He gets pre-approved, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's pre-approved. He thinks he's good to go. He's
Correct.
shopping for the house. He finds the house that he wants a couple of months in, if I remember correctly.
It was, yeah.
And then once he goes under contract, they say, hey, we can't help you. And so at that point, he comes to you and you kind of
his real estate agent said, hey, can you call somebody local and talk through this? And then once I got a hold of it and started working with him, and then started asking these deeper questions, because I do know the area and I do know how far away Indianapolis is. And, I think some of these, these online lenders, they don't realize location, and we have certain state laws like around how funds have to be obtained for closing, cashier's check or wire transfer. And this particular guy, he had money in a safe, which you can't do. The money has got a season, and any number of these things that we could have, if he started with us or somebody local 90 days ago, when he started this process, we could have worked through all those things. And when he found the house, we would have been ready to go. But he got pre-approved, and they didn't ask enough questions to try to prevent the problems that ended up arising.
Yeah. Brad, I'm assuming he loses the house.
Yeah. And he'd already paid for a home inspection, and, he lived in Indianapolis. How many times did he drive down here to go house shopping? And, a lot of time and energy was unfortunately wasted.
Time, energy, money. Home inspections aren't cheap. He probably lost $500-$600 there. lost some certainly 8-10 weeks of home research time that he's not going to get back, and then he obviously loses the house that he made the offer on and wanted. So talk about your pre-approval process, maybe how it's different from the online lenders, and how people can have confidence that when they get a letter from you or a pre-approval from you, that they can take that with them in confidence.
Yeah, so I think when you fill out and we do the same thing with these online questionnaires. We have these online questionnaires that could give us a good bit of information of what we need to do a pre-approval for somebody. And I think a lot of these long lenders, they'll pull credit and take the information as face value and don't really ask any deeper questions about what the client's plans are, where funds are coming from, or really verifying that they put in an accurate number for their monthly income, because that can be a big deal. We've had people, and I think it's just looking at the questionnaire, calling the client and having a conversation with it before you send a pre-approval letter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the most important piece. Us and our team, we're not going to send a pre-approval letter without having a deeper conversation about income and assets and where things are coming from and what the plan is and what the goals are. And I think that's important because, these online lenders will pull credit, plug the numbers in and say, oh, well, your DTI is 38% and you said you got $10,000 in the bank. Here's your pre-approval letter.
Yeah.
And really that $10,000 is in the mattress and you've only been at your job for 6 months. You put in there that you make $3,000 a month in overtime. Well, you've only been on the job 6 months, so we can't use that $3,000 a month in overtime. So it's asking the right questions in the right way to get the information as accurate as possible. So when we do send a pre-approval letter, we know that deal is going to close.
Yeah. Look, I want to be fair here. These online mortgage companies are closing thousands of deals a year, right? They can
Absolutely.
close deals. The difference is, if you do some research, they have built in to their model that just a certain amount of these deals are going to fall out because they're going for speed. And if a few deals fall out here and there, that doesn't impact them because they've already built it in. The goal is, the Super Bowl commercial is we can get you pre-approved in 5 minutes, 7 seconds, we get you pre-approved. That's you punching in numbers. They're running that through an algorithm and it's spitting out whether you're pre-approved. You're taking it to kind of that next layer to say, okay, do these numbers match up with reality and do they fit guidelines?
At the end of the day, it is time, energy, and money, like you talked about. But I think the bigger thing is the emotional aspect of it. Like, you spend all this time and you find the perfect house, and then you start envisioning yourself living in the house, and then somebody takes that away from you.
Yeah. Okay. So this client, again, I don't want you to go into any specifics that you can't talk about, but you talked about, okay, he's got some challenges, but we can help him work through those. What does that look like as if someone comes to you and they don't qualify today? How are you helping them?
At the end of the day, I tell people, we don't tell you no. We either tell you yes, or here's what we need to do to get you there. And everybody's situation is different, whether we need to, get this credit score up a few points by getting a credit card balance paid down, or, there's this collection from 5 years ago that actually shouldn't be on there. Let's make some phone calls and try to get that removed. And we help facilitate a lot of that. Or, hey, you've been on the job 1 year and 8 months, and 3 more months, we can use your overtime or bonus income at that point and put you in a much better qualification scenario. Or you're getting a gift from a family member. We're trying to figure out where assets are coming from, and let's move some things around and make sure we meet guidelines on where funds are coming from. And so I think it's just, preparing people to be in the best situation they can be when they do find the house that they fall in love with.
Yeah. Brad, I we work with dozens of clients, and one of the most heartbreaking things from a home buying perspective is, getting into a house, under a contract with a house, and then eventually finding out that, hey, I don't really have the financing that I thought I had to make this work. It's the buyer's losing out on a house. You got to go tell the seller that you can't buy their house. And so it can be very, very challenging and heartbreaking. Pre-approval is important, and who you get pre-approved with is equally important. And Brad, you're one of the best in the business. Thank you for your time sharing that with us today. Any closing thoughts there?
I appreciate you having me, Mike. And if we help one or two people out of this video that, take the right steps and get things going and put them in the best position they can be in, that's what it means to us.
Okay. Folks, you need home buying questions, you can reach us at the 812 Living Group, 812living.com. Brad, they want to get pre-approved with you or have questions about financing. Where can they reach you?
My cell phone number is 812-989-7555. I'm sure you'll put that somewhere. KYINmortgage.com. Check out our website. There's a lot of good information and some helpful videos and tips on there as well.
Awesome. Brad, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, if you'd like to have updates on Southern Indiana events, news, and real estate information you can use delivered directly to your email inbox, visit us at 812living.com/blog. That's 812living.com/blog, and sign up for alerts.